Hi, I'm Crystal, and I'm the founder of Amazon Sellers Society. In this session of The Peak, we're going to be dissecting everything Amazon Europe. We're going to be talking about the strategies that you need and the step-by-step blueprint that can help you expand your business on Amazon in Europe. Not only are we going to showcase all the things that you need in order to start your business on Amazon in Europe and whether it's going to be profitable or not, we're also going to be thinking about all the strategies that the successful sellers on Europe that have been doing these strategies for a very long time. We're going to take these strategies and see if we can actually implement them in a newer marketplace, a fresher marketplace like Amazon UAE and Amazon KSA. Now, to help me do all of that, I want to introduce you to Marijke Thomas, who is the co-founder of Lievd Up. Hi, Marijke, and welcome to The Peak.
Hello, Crystal. Thank you so much. Super exciting.
Thank you. I'm very excited, and I'm sure everyone is excited to be part of this journey together, where we're going to be talking about Amazon Europe and your fantastic background and your fantastic experience. You're going to help us and guide us.
That's the plan. That's going to be amazing.
Perfect. You want to get started?
I am ready when you are.
Let's get started. Perfect.
Perfect. Then thank you very much for the introduction. So as already said, the focus today is, of course, Amazon. And we want to see, okay, how can I, from the UAE region, be successful in selling e-commerce on the Europe side? So, but before going into the topic, quick introduction. So as I already said, my name is Marijke, so that's pretty easy. I'm the co-founder of Lievd Up. We are an agency for e-commerce focusing very much on Amazon, which is maybe because I'm a little bit biased on Amazon because I'm a former Amazon employee. Next to that, I also founded my own private labels. So I also know like how to build brands, and this is really helpful that you can combine it both. I did a little bit on Google Maps earlier to realize, wow, it's not that far away actually. So seeing where we have one region, a lot of places, that's where Amazon is already. So as said, today we want to focus on the European region. And not just on Amazon, but I want to give you like a little bit of a feeling. What is the potential that we have there in the marketplace? Yeah. How can we get the potential as well? And very important as well, what are the important things that we need to know to be successful? Before going into practical, let's have a little bit or like a little look on numbers. Because on the marketplace potential, nobody wants to open a store somewhere where nothing is going on, right? We all want to have a store comparative offline,
yeah, for
sure. Where a lot of people are walking and people like are crowded and they're interested to buy something. So if we change this into numbers, if we take the European e-commerce market, there is a revenue worth 363 billion. I mean, that's a huge number. And what I think is even more impressive is the growth that happened in the last year. So from going from the previous year to the last year, we had a growth of 7.3%. If we all lean back, look to very traditional companies, all those are celebrating themselves. They have like a 2%, a 3% growth. So 7% is big. And also
especially
if we go
for
forward,
an established marketplace like Europe.
Correct.
So of course, yeah.
Correct. Because especially in Europe, as you said, Crystal, they don't do it since yesterday. There's a lot of business going on. There's a lot of saturation and a lot of competition as well. So even then growing is a good thing. But of course, we need to be honest, of course, the e-commerce market is the winning market when it comes to the current crisis and pandemic. So of course, there was a lot of shift. But looking forward, if we go, okay, what is the estimated revenue in the upcoming years? There's a forecast of 481 billion next year. So you see that the journey didn't stop. And the good thing is also, we can still be part of that because it's not like they say, okay, all seats are taken. No, there's always new potential coming up. It's super dynamic. And we need to see, okay, where can we place ourselves there? although it's a big region, so there are multiple countries, there are a lot of language that we spoke. We just had a little chat on different languages in Europe. Also, there's a lot of curacy going on. But next to all this little market, or like these little countries that they are, the main leading locals and defined by the revenue generated is UK, Germany, and France. So I want to have a little closer look on those locals. So what do we have there? Of course, there are loads of millions of people living there. So going from Germany with 8.3 million over UK, over France, there's just a lot of things happening. And what you can see here on the chart as well is, which I think is super interesting on the blue circle, the percentage of population who buy stuff online. And I mean, this is our target group. We want people who buy stuff online because that's where we want to sell, right? And if you take it also from there, the comparison percentage of retail sales that are online, you see that it's also like growing, of course. And but most importantly, if you see here, then the top 3 shopping sites by traffic. So where do people go to purchase stuff online? And I mean, you will see it in one glance. Amazon is the place to go. Secret told.
Yeah.
The good thing is, and I think that's the interesting part also, if you're starting with Amazon, it doesn't mean that you do it on like one local. So saying, okay, I want to start with Amazon Germany or with Amazon France, because it's super easy, and you will see that in a few slides later, to just see it as one big piece. But, and this is important, next to Amazon, there is so much more, and it's just growing, extremely growing. So if you take the development of number of marketplaces over the years, it's just tremendous. And you see here on the screen a few others like eBay, Agos, etc. But there's like bol.com in Belgium, there is Allegros in Poland, and I could mention now many more. And the trick or the smart thing is, we need to find out for us as a seller, what is my product, who is the target group I'm looking for, and what is the right marketplace. Yes, Amazon will be very often the right answer, and that's good because it's an everything store. It's an open store. You can go there, you can sell your products. But I think the most fun we get is when you go multi-channel, and I will show you also some insights on what else is there on the European marketplace and which questions we have to ask ourselves to get this step. And although it's not that far away, of course, there are a lot of questions we need to make sure that we handle to ensure that the customer experience is really outstanding. Because just having a good product is not the key to success anymore.
Not anymore, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we all had it, and we had it in the discussion earlier as well. Back in the days when there was not that much selection on Amazon, you can just bring your product and people will buy it. They still buy it, but we need to make sure that we get the visibility.
100%.
So as I said earlier, on the leading marketplaces on Amazon, if you take Amazon as Europe, right now, as of today, you would get all those countries. And that doesn't mean that it's stopping there. So on the marketplace side, so like really a functional marketplace, we have UK, Germany, France, Italy, and Spain. And they are there for quite some time already. Then Amazon decided to launch Netherlands, which is super interesting because we have bol.com, and this is a very established marketplace. So this is interesting. The same goes for Sweden and Poland.
Sweden, yeah.
Because those are new marketplaces. Of course, there is also e-commerce, but it's not there that Amazon has a footprint there yet. So starting there from day one is such a great benefit because you are the one position yourself within the market. Independently on if you start with Amazon, Germany, France, whichever local, or if it's even not Amazon, but maybe Otto, maybe bol.com or Allegro, there are a few questions that you always need to ask yourself, and I try to sum them up in this wheel. So, and I put it as be smart from the start, because I think, and maybe this is where I'm biased from my Amazon background now, it's always important to build scalable solutions. So it should be the same logic, the same process, and also the same resources for you if you sell one product, 100 products, 1,000 products, or maybe 100,000 products a day, because the system should always be repeated and it should be up running. And that's the reason why it's super important to take care of all the topics which you can see now in the wheel. And it doesn't mean that we have to have like a bulletproof plan that cannot change from left to right, but we need to ask ourselves a few questions to make sure that either we can handle the processes by ourselves, or find those areas in the process which we maybe cannot handle ourselves, to onboard service providers, to onboard tools, etc., so that we build a system. It sounds like rocket science. It's not. Everything is super doable. There are people who did that before, so there's a lot of knowledge, and we have to find, okay, what is the right knowledge for us, and how can I follow the procedure? So let's go a quick round on the circle. Starting at top 12 o'clock, product data, text, and media. Yes, of course, we need to tell all marketplaces what is the product I'm selling. And all marketplaces at the end, they are a machine. So the machine needs to understand, am I selling a shoe, a t-shirt, or maybe a water bottle? And then I also need to make sure that the customer is getting all these images. Because if we compare it to, let's go back in the days when we were offline. We had a store, people walked in, we showed them something like, I look at this pen, it's great. Yeah. It can write, and you can feel it, you can experience it. We don't do that anymore online. So you need to be very smart in giving this experience via a screen.
All this experience in an image, which is not easy. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I mean, you're absolutely right, Crystal. People not reading anymore, or it's always fewer and fewer. So we need to get them within seconds. Is it the image? Is it a video? Is it appealing? So there's a lot of things that we can do. Next to that, warehousing and shipment and return. So if you go clockwise, of course, if somebody's ordering something, we need to have the stock. We need to make sure that the marketplace knows how much of that do I have, how do I get it after purchase, what if the customer wants to return it, what are like the processes. And that's the next one is also very important. The customer, they have questions, and that's okay. And it's good because we need to make sure that our interaction with the customer is always on point. It needs to be in time, it needs to be clear, and it needs to be fun for the customer as well, because they're not purchasing anymore a shoe or a water bottle. They're purchasing a feeling, a brand, and there's much more behind it. And we want to grab the customer. We don't want to grab them, we want to invite the customer. Let's do it positively. And of course, we want to also remain in a long story with them. And depending on the product, right? I mean, maybe we're selling cosmetics, or we're selling fashion, or maybe groceries. There's always a different storyline and a different customer journey. Branding opportunities, marketing. We will go on this one also a little bit deeper in the upcoming slides, but it's important. What can we do to get the visibility of the right target group? How do we prevent of getting visibility from the wrong target group? And so on. And very important, how do we make sure that we spend our marketing budgets wisely? So not to spend, like, you can put like advertisement everywhere, but if the wrong people sees that, I mean, we won't get a purchase. The next two dots, maybe they're a little bit more dry, but they are super important. Financial tax and analytics are really the common ground of being a successful seller at the end of the day. Because it's great if you sell a lot of products, but it's not great if we realize by the end of the month how much costs I generated. And there are a lot of costs because everybody wants to have a piece of it. So we need to make sure that we also on the profit side, of course. So how do we do that? If we translate this into actions, I downgraded to 2 opportunities. So on the left-hand side, you see the brand. So this is you with your company, with your own brand, and we have a goal. We want to bring our products to a marketplace. Whatever marketplace is, we want it to be visible there, to be attractive, and to be purchasable, of course. Yeah. And I leveled it in 2 areas. Area number 1 is we can do it all by ourselves. So I am at the brand, and I go to marketplace A and tell them like, hey, I want to sell something. So the customer, of course, if he sees that, he sees I'm purchasing something from Amazon. But by now, people understand that Amazon is not just Amazon selling products, but Amazon is a marketplace. On the other side, if I do not, or if I cannot, due to limited resources, for example, or if I do not want, because I want to focus more on other topics which are more my expertise, I can also do it via a service partner. So I am indirect, and I have a service partner who's selling the products, like my products, on behalf of me on the marketplaces. Both opportunities have advantages and also disadvantages, like always two sides, right? Let's start with the first one. So if we assume, or let's go a bit more general. Let's say we are the brand, and as I said, there are more marketplaces than just one. So I have two opportunities now. Either I go per marketplace and tell them like, hey, Amazon, I want to sell with you. So Amazon says, okay, that's great. Here is Amazon Seller Central. Please log in, get me your products, get me your keywords, get me whatever I need. So we are successful. Then there's Zalando, there's About You, same story. So I could go to all the marketplaces on their platform tools, let's call it like that, and give the information. The thing that we have now, if I do it one by one, there's one thing which is super expensive, and for everybody of us, it's time. I mean, if we spend so much time doing it manually, I mean, we all know it. The day only has 24 hours. We also want to have like a happy life. So we need to think about how can I do this smart? If you start with one, let's say we start with Amazon. Of course, I can start directly, and that's fine. It's not a bad thing to do it. It's just about like in our mind, what do I want to reach in the midterm, 6 months, 9 months, maybe 2 years? And if my goal is to go not just to Amazon, but also to other marketplaces, then I would suggest you to take this one, because it's the same storyline. The only difference is that I feed something between me and the marketplaces because I put a system in between. And that's independently from which region you're selling, it's always the same. So it's me as a brand. I have a so-called ERP system where I can feed all my information in. So it's the same as if we want to fly a plane, there's somebody in the cockpit who can oversee everything. So the system is your cockpit, and you have all the information in there, like product data, stock, invoicing, who are your customers, CRM, and I could list now even many more. The good thing about this one is you have one centralized system where you feed all the information, and then the systems are bringing the information to the marketplaces because they have the so-called APIs to it, and they have like the technical resources. To be honest, I'm not a technician, and I don't want to be a technician because I'm very good in organizing products and selling that. And I hope that's for all of us. So I don't want to worry about what is like the ERP system and how it's working. So the good thing is we are not the first ones thinking about that. So those systems are very user-friendly, and they're very friendly to us as a seller because they help us to translate from a very technical side into a user side, and the users in this case, us as a seller. What's important, if we go with this one, of course, I'm still selling myself on the marketplace. I just have a more convenient way to get my data from A to B. However, I still need to make sure that I care for all the topics that you see here, and there are many, many more. So I need to make sure that my products get online, that I have stock on my products, that I can ship them when somebody orders them, that they can return. VAT is super important. If I am selling in Germany, for example, and I have my inventory stored in Germany, then I need to have a VAT number. How do I do that? Same also, there are other companies where they require a local entity or like a local company. How do I do that? Same with support. So by putting an ERP system in between, it's not changing anything. I am still the seller on the marketplace, so I am responsible for everything that is linked to a seller.
I'm just basically working smarter, not harder.
Correct. Smart from the start.
Yeah.
If we
put some... I just want to say something, Mareike, for everyone who's watching us right now live, make sure that you leave Mareike a comment so that we can answer all your questions at the end of the session. And make sure you leave a thumbs up if you're interested in selling on Amazon in Europe. We are interested to know if this is something that you want to learn more about.
Perfect. Let's go one step further. So going back to work smart, not hard, or smart from the start, what if I can reduce all the steps that you saw earlier? So in the previous slide, you see like we take care of everything that is related to selling. What if I have somebody else selling my products for me, or the person being like the one responsible or in the direct contact with the marketplaces? And those are so-called service providers. If you're interested in this topic, I can, of course, share also some examples, but I want you to understand the logic of it. So what is it that a service provider is helping me with? Because it's exactly the thing. We have us as a company, we bring information to the service provider, and that's when they take care of all the steps, ship products, returns, VAT, because they are the legal entity, of course, do the support, everything. You maybe have seen that there are some locks at some marketplaces. And that's the thing. Not all marketplaces are as open and as welcoming as Amazon. Okay, maybe that's wrong. I wouldn't say as welcoming because everybody's welcoming, but the entry barriers are different. Let's put it like that.
Yeah, they have different systems.
Correct. Because we are dividing into open marketplaces and closed marketplaces. The only difference is open marketplace is you have to go through a verification process. Of course, show, hey, I am this and that person, this is my company, but then I am there and I can sell. But some marketplaces, they have a stronger barrier because they first need to approve that they want to have your brand, for example, right now presented at the marketplace. And those are so-called closed marketplaces. One big advantage that I always see when working with a service provider is the thing that they have the key, because they work with those marketplaces already. So they already have their connection. So they are already approved as like, hey, of course you can sell here. They only have to go one additional step saying, hey, I have a new brand. Can I bring that to the party as well? And I mean, why would somebody close? There are very small reasons why they would not allow your brand, but the barrier is much easier if you already have somebody knowing the host of the party.
The host of the party, yeah, for sure.
So if we summarize those first area of not going directly into Amazon, but really thinking, okay, from the strategic side. And you saw in my first deck that I was talking about D2C, so directly to customer. Back in the days, they were like big companies and they're selling multiple brands, but the trend is changing. Right now, it's like, I want to buy something very specific, then I would go to a specific brand. Going the other direction of the perspective means also, by now you have companies and they have a very small product portfolio because they're very focused. Yes. And this is also the advantages we have. And even if we are maybe a bigger company with a big portfolio, doesn't mean that it's negative. It only means that with D2C, that we can finally go in direct communication with our end customer, because they are purchasing from us directly. And who would know our product better than we ourselves?
100%.
So translating this, that would mean those are like my recommendations on what are the steps that you should take with you when thinking of going to Europe. Like, what are the first, like, let's say, big questions that you need to answer yourself? And there is no right and wrong. It's more on like, what is the right thing for me right now? So first of all, select a marketplace that fits your product category. Because as said, Amazon is a general open market, like a generalist. You can sell everything there, from, I don't know, food until fashion, until things we have never heard about.
Pet supplies, everything.
Pet supplies, everything, really everything. It's always important to be smart and check on, okay, what's already there? How's my competition already doing? How experienced are they already? But I mean, in general, it's open. And there are other marketplaces which are more focused. So we talked about Zalando earlier. About you, they're very fashionist. So why not? If I have fashion, I would definitely go to Zalando as well. And this is not like choosing A or B. It's forming the right set of marketplaces that fit the product category and, of course, also the target group. So let's say because if we take, let's take About You. About You, it's also fashion, but they are very young digital fashionists. Because they want to discover, they go on and they see styles. Whereas if I want to buy a practical trouser because I want to gardening, then I could go to Amazon because I need a gardening trouser, nothing fashionable.
Yeah.
Next step, of course, as I said, choose between direct and indirect selling. So am I, as a brand, as a company, directly going to the marketplace, maybe with a ERP system in between, Or do I want to use the benefits of a service provider who's very experienced in doing that and I can onboard quicker? Whatever way we go, there are different follow-up questions that I need to answer. On the direct side, as I said, VAT and business requirements are super important. So the marketplace, it's like a menu. They tell us very openly, if you want to sell with me, those are the things that you need to do. If we compare it to the party again, it's always the same. It's a garden party, please bring something for the barbecue. Technical setup, very important. As I said, with the ERP system, for example, always check on, okay, if you go the customer journey, what is it that I need to fulfill product-wise, stock-wise, etc. Product data enrichment, very important. How do we make sure that we get the right information to the right marketplace? Especially if you have more than one marketplace, because they have different rules. It starts, for example, with the picture. Amazon has very clear product pictures requirements, I call like this. First picture, for example, always on white background. On the other side, if I go to the fashion marketplace like Zalando, they always say the first picture needs to be on a model, for example. And this is just one little example. Logistic processes, customer support, as said earlier, everything that's related to selling on the marketplace needs to be thought about. And it's not a bad thing if you don't have the right formula already in your drawer. It's about, okay, how can we make it up and how can we make it happen? When going indirect, of course, then those things are taken care of. But, and this is super important, it's important to choose the right partner, because there are different models on the market. Some are selling your product or like they're purchasing it from you. Some are saying, okay, I'm the middleware, and there's a lot of things going on. But find the right one, talk to them, find out what are they offering, what are your needs, so that you can make sure that you really build long-lasting partnerships. From there, I would say let's make another cut and let's go to Amazon. As I said earlier, and I don't want to be the party pooper, but it's not just you. Amazon Europe is comparably to Amazon AE, for example, it's already a bit mature. We're doing this for I don't know how many years already. There's a lot of people selling products, but it's not a bad thing. So what would be my recommendation? Of course, you need to have a good product. You need to be confident that the product that you have is serving the need of your customer.
Yeah.
Because if it's not, then people will realize it very quickly. You will have negative reviews. Nobody's buying anything if it's a bad review. It's the same as if your friend would tell you, hey, this is bad, then you don't go there. And then the 100%. Next thing, and that's super important, you need to know how you position your product up front. Compared to if you go offline again, if you have a long street of a lot of shops, you don't walk like kilometers of kilometers, but you make a quick decision because there will be the time when you stop walking. So if you take this little example, I took a screenshot of a coffee cup travel because it was like one of the big Amazon products everybody did. And you see, if like enter the keyword coffee cup travel, you already see like 739 results. Nobody is clicking until 700th position, not even 400th or 100th. So we need to be on the first pages. And how do I do that? It's no rocket science, but you need to understand the system and you need to know how to play with the system to be successful. As easy as that. So what are that? I want to go with you on the journey. So let's start from the bottom line where you see the white rectangles. Because we say, we are a customer. Let's get ourselves in the position at a customer. The customer is going on Amazon.uk, co.uk. And the customer has a need because most of the time when they go on Amazon.something, they always want to buy something. So they hit something in the search.
For sure. You have a need. Yeah.
Correct. I mean, if you go to Google, it could also be that they want to find something out. I want to compare something. But if I go to Amazon, there's a need to buy something, which is good because we have the people that want to buy something and we have to sell. So going from there, I type something in. Let's say, okay, I am searching for the travel cup. Let's say with this one, because I go on a journey. And I type in, okay, I want to have a cup. So what will happen within seconds, Amazon is listing me search results. So as you see here, there are like different options that Amazon is showcasing me now as a customer so that I can choose from. And to be honest, what does Amazon want to achieve? They want to sell something as well. So what is the thing? Amazon is doing a smart thing by giving me the products that seem to be the perfect right fit to help me with my need that I want to have a travel cup. So if I'm searching for a travel cup, of course, they will not become cutlery or something. But I mean, there are a lot of travel cups, as you saw here. So Amazon, or the Amazon algorithm is also trying to give me the right one, and it's forming the right one based on the ones which have a promising conversion. So if a lot of people search for this keyword and bought a specific product, then the chance that I do the same when I enter this keyword is obviously higher than when I put something else in there. If the customer clicked on anything, so let's say on the pink one, on the black one, doesn't matter, then we get to the product detail page. And that's the thing. I got the customer into my store, and now I want the customer, of course, to buy something. That would be the next step, purchase, right? So what does it mean? We need to feed the algorithm. We need to tell the Amazon system, the logic, that we have the promising product for a conversion that the customer's needs is fulfilled. Easy as that. So easy as that. That sounds like super easy now. But what can we do to do that? At the end, it's a machine, right? It's a machine that is like crawling to our product and trying to understand. It's eager to learn what is it that we're selling. So what areas do we have to feed this information in next to many others? And if we stay on the journey that we just had here, customer at the marketplace hits the search function. Of course, we need to know what is the customer searching for when they are aiming to buy a product that I am offering. So if I'm offering a travel cup, then I need to know what is it that the thing are, what the customers are hitting in the search function. And this is super important. And there are loads of tools out there. And that's a good thing with Amazon compared to other marketplaces, right? There are so many data tools, which, I mean, I heard that you were talking about a seller board earlier, which are helping you to analyze. There is Helium 10, there is Analyze, and I could add many more now. And they do exactly that. Because in the end, Amazon is a huge data machine giving us all this information. So we need to know, how do I grab this information and this data, and how do I feed it into my product so that I can feed the algorithm again? Search result list logically. I want to be visible. I want to be on the first 2 pages. And I get there by, of course, putting the right keywords in the right product, having like a smart product detail page as well. Plus also, of course, doing advertisement to make sure that customers can find me. If I once get the customer on my product detail page, so if I once have them in the store, I want to make sure that they feel great there, that they understand what is the product that I'm selling, and that they do not have the impression, oops, I went into the wrong store. I mean, go offline again. If you want to buy something specific, you are entering a store and you realize, no, they don't have that here. That's when you go out again. So we need to make sure that we tell the right story so that the customer knows, okay, when I click on this product and I come to their product detail page, that's the product that I want to purchase. And then they buy. So let's take it from this very practical, or like this very theoretical perspective into a more practical one. I thought it's cold out there. And as you maybe heard, or if you, I'm not sure if you talked about it earlier, but I am from Germany. And what do we wear? We wear shoes at home. I'm not sure who else does that, but it's a cool thing. So I thought I'd bring you like an example of that one. What do we see here? This is the product detail page, right? So I am, as a seller, I have the opportunity to feed the system with the things that you see in red. So I can have pictures, I have a title, I have bullet points, and if I would scroll down now, you would also see a description. So those are the areas where I can feed the algorithm to tell them, like, hey, those are shoes for ladies. Those are slippers. They are anti-slip. They are lightweighted, and you wear them at your house because those are house shoes and they are breathable. You see, that's a lot of information already. Slippers, house shoes, and so on. So the system is already understanding. And then if you go on the bullet points, you see here there's a combination of things that the seller entered and information that Amazon entered because you matched it. For example, Amazon's asking like, hey, this shoe, what kind of sole does it have? And you say, it's a rubber sole. So Amazon says, great, That's something that customers want to know. So we put that here. You can do this in different areas. You can do this by entering you could also have just said, okay, I have a house shoe, which is from the brand Vera Cozy. I just picked it. I have no relation to the brand. But you see here, somebody did really good research because they understood, okay, what are the keywords? What are the important words that I have to enter into the product detail page? If you look now on this, on the red one with the size name and the color, this is super smart because if I have different shoes in different colors, then I can help the customer finding the right size because nobody wants to wear shoes that don't fit and the right color that they want. So let's assume we got the customer now here and he sees, let's say, a rosé shoe, but maybe this person is not very into rosé. That would mean I would lose the customer again. By giving them the option to choose, great, the chance is higher.
By getting them to choose the option that they want,
Correct. And also from the technical side, we call it, within Amazon terms, parent and child. So we have a parent product, which is a shoe, and I have different variations, which are the children. Adding like all these different children under one parent is feeding the algorithm massively because all the great things from the different childs are adding up in the parent. So the overall weighting of my product gets up, which is good.
Yeah.
You also see on the left side different pictures. And I think this is super, super important. As we said earlier, Crystal, people don't read anymore. They are lazy. They don't want to read anymore. I mean, I know it myself. I'm swiping and then I decide. Some people even find their husband like. So what do we want to get? We want to get that people find the product by swiping to the pictures. So you need to make sure that your most important USPs, why is this shoe great? Why should you buy this shoe rather than another house shoe? And you need to put it on the pictures. You could also by now enter a video there. And with this one, I want to go to the next slide because Amazon is offering extra tools if you have a brand. Yes. And I think this is absolutely amazing. And this is helping a lot of KMUs as well. So if you have a brand, so let's say you have a brand, which it needs to be registered somewhere. There is a list of countries that, for example, for Europe, are allowed where your brand can be registered. Yes. It's not for all. So for example, I had the case the other day, I think it was Denmark, brand was registered, but Denmark was not on the list. Okay, that was a pity. Yeah. But you can then register your brand, for example, on the EU level or on the world level, which is the WIPO. Let's go away.
One of the easiest places is in Germany, and the fastest way, the fastest timeline is Germany.
Yeah, with the DPMA, you're absolutely right. And if you have it in one country unlocked, you get the tools for all EU regions, which is amazing. Yeah. So just pick one and you're fine. What does it mean we get tools? You see here, let's go one back. Above the title, you see in blue, visit the Vera Cozy store. So this is great. If I would have not a brand, then there would only be like brand Visa Cozy. And if I click on it, then I go back to the search results list. And if we think of our customer story, that's the moment when the risk of losing the customer is big and we don't want it. So this is one of the things that you can see on the middle left side, it's stores. I get stores. Additionally, I get A+ content. A+ content is just another opportunity of a description. If you don't have a brand, you have a description which is just letters and numbers. It doesn't look attractive. It doesn't give you the chance to represent your brand greatly. So this is amazing. Sponsored brands is a form of advertisement, which is like on the top level. Let me see on this one if I enter. Yeah, you see it here.
Yeah, like if I go on the banner. Yeah.
Correct. I think what's the brand called? Ukon. Ukon is using sponsored brands. If you don't have the brand registry, you won't have the opportunity to do this. So great thing if you have a brand registered. If you're still thinking of like forming a product and you're thinking, hey, should I get a brand or shall I go like no name? Then with Amazon, I can absolutely recommend you to have a brand registry.
Yeah.
Next one, no secret. Amazon without Prime, nobody buys it. I mean, we all are Prime members. If you're not a Prime member, let's summarize it in one word. You pay a specific amount every year and you get great things. One of the great things is free delivery, Amazon Video, Amazon Gaming. I mean, what else is there? Loads of things. What does it mean, but in the other direction?
Small payment a year. that, you know, if you buy once or twice from Amazon and they push it so much that you're going to be a Prime member because of the fact that it's also not a very expensive membership, but at the same time, it gives you a lot of benefits. I think the Prime membership is actually the most successful membership plan in the world when it comes to these types of things.
Absolutely. And I mean, Amazon started, I don't know for how many years, but since I'm on Amazon, there's Prime. And Zalando is doing it now, and all the other marketplaces, they're building a loyalty program. Remember back in the days when you went to the coffee shop and you had like this little card with the stamps, and you always went back there because you wanted, correct. And I mean, it's the same, it's loyalty. And Amazon is doing it smart because they give you a lot of extras. They're not just giving you a coffee, they also give you a little cake with it. And I mean, that's for it.
A lot of stuff,
So long story short, Amazon without Prime does not make sense. You need to have the absolutely amazing product that nobody else have to be successful without Prime. But I mean, that doesn't make sense. So there are different ways to get the Prime badge. I think the easiest, especially if you're an out of region seller, is to go with the Amazon fulfillment because it's super smart. You get the products to the warehouse and Amazon is taking care of everything from there. Shipment, returns, packaging. I mean, sum up all the hours that somebody is spending in the warehouse. I mean, it's super smart customer support, and I could add even more now. There's another way. You can also do Prime by merchants. So you ship on behalf, and Amazon is giving you the trust that you do shipment in a very timely manner. But if you're out of region, of course, it's not very feasible to do that because the package would just be simply too long on the way. So I think Amazon fulfillment is the smartest way here. As I said earlier, we need to get visibility. And of course, even if we have the best product, the best listing, everything the best, there is day one. And on day one, you won't just be by magic on spot number one. It's not happening. So that's why Amazon came up with the smart idea of something like Google maybe had before. If you click on, if you have a specific keyword, that's how it started, you can give an offer. And if you have the best offer and we go like in circles, then we will showcase your product. I think it's a super smart way because of course Amazon is also earning money with this one, and it's helping us as a seller to get to positions where we would have not gone organically from day one. And now let me go back a little bit in the slides because I think this is a very important thing that we get this smart. Because as I told you, to have a high organic ranking in the search results list, we need to have conversion promising products. So if we go the logic with advertisement, I spend budget on advertisement. This is like normal marketing budget. I get top level. People buy the product. So a lot of people are purchasing my product in a specific time period. So the algorithm is learning and is understanding, oh, this product seems to be a good fit if people search A or B or C. So this means by spending budget, it's not only I get on top positions, but it also means on the long term that I'm helping my organic ranking to grow and to grow and to grow. It doesn't mean that we should stop with advertisement anytime because there's always competition. So it's always good to keep on doing advertisement. The smart thing is of doing it more and more profitable. So learning what are the things that I'm spending money on that are worth it because I have good conversion, people click and people buy. But what are other clicks or other keywords, for example, or target products where I do not have this conversion? So they click and they don't buy. So of course we want to reduce them.
Yes.
So if we go back on the slide, where's it gone? Here. There are different opportunities, as I said, sponsored product, sponsored brand, and let's not go in detail because otherwise we will spend the next 5 hours on this topic. But the idea is more like, okay, either get yourself into the topic of it so that you know how it works. If you are limited on resources, for example, because, I mean, as we said, time is money, or you have other topics you need to focus on, or you maybe just not into advertisement, which is also a fair point, then get somebody else doing it because there are a lot of people and they can do it smart. Or there are a lot of tools as well where you can automate things. if we sum this up,
especially when it comes to Amazon, I don't think there is any tool that you might need that hasn't been already invented. So there shouldn't be an excuse of, well, I can't do PPC ads or anything like that, because you've got all the tools that can help you, or all the professionals that can help you. You just need to know where to look to find the help that you need.
Correct. And this is, I think, the most important thing. You really need to understand what things, like there's a lot of things that you need to do on Amazon, which is good. I mean, most of the target group is there. So of course, there's also like a lot of sellers there, but you need to make sure, okay, how do I get visibility? And on the different things that you need to do, it's like ticking a box. Yes, this I can do myself, check. This I can do as well, okay, check. But there's maybe a topic like advertisement that I cannot do by myself, so get somebody else on board. Easy as that.
Yeah.
So how do we unlock now this potential of Amazon? I did it like very putting it into different clusters. Yeah, compact, because otherwise we would have a list of like, I don't know how many pages now. But let's go like from like really the top level. You need to understand product requirements. What is the rule that Amazon is putting on the ground? And you need to understand how you can play with the rule. As I said earlier, with the how long is the title, how many bullet points can I use, how many bytes in the back end keywords, and so on. Do your homework. So research for the relevant keywords. Understand what the customer is searching for when he or she is aiming for your product. Take this knowledge and build smart listings. So smart listings, which include those keywords, which include all this information. And of course, media like pictures and video. Then register your brand. As we said, brand registry, it's super easy. If you once have your brand registered in one of the official institutions, which is also super easy, then it's like a few clicks and you have your brand registered with Amazon, and you get all these different tools, which is helping you to build attractive product pages, have good visibility because you have more tools, and also giving you more analytics. Then build visibility. As I said, the best product is not good enough if nobody finds it. And track and analyze. It's very important. Amazon is a data-driven company and it's a data-driven business. So you need to understand your numbers. You need to understand how can I read the numbers. And I think this is where the fun starts. If you go into these different reports and Amazon is giving you loads of information, there are other marketplaces, they don't simply have that. So use that. It's a great opportunity to perform and to go like boost your business. And lastly, constantly improve. Something that is right today is maybe wrong tomorrow. Something that was okay today is maybe not allowed anymore tomorrow. And maybe there are more, and cross the maybe, it's for sure, there will be competition coming. So you really need to make sure to always stay on top of everything. One more thing, as I said earlier, it's super easy to enter Amazon Europe as one region rather than seeing it in different countries. You see the picture on the left, it's an old one because it does not include the Netherlands or Sweden or Poland.
Or Sweden or Poland, yeah.
But the storyline is the same. So as we said earlier, you have the opportunity to use Amazon fulfillment. So it means Amazon has a very smart warehousing system, and they are receiving products. They are experts in receiving products and selling products and storing them in between. So what you can do, you can profit from this expertise by using the Experience Fulfillment Network. And there's, for example, a system which is called Pan-EU, Pan-European Fulfillment, but this is like the senior one. You can also start easier by starting to store your products in one local. So let's say we are sending our products to the warehouse of Germany, for example. Then I can tell Amazon, hey, I have this product here. I want to list my products everywhere, but I keep them storing in Germany, for example. And then I go step by step, improving my listings in all other locals, building more attractiveness. And this attractiveness means like all the different things that I do to be successful in one region, I just simply duplicate. What are the keywords in France? Of course, they are different than keywords in UK than in Italy. Then building the smart listings of those keywords that I got, going like good Amazon SEO, going into listing, and so on and so on. But another important thing, one important step of attractiveness is also getting your product quick to the customer, like the mile, I order, I do a click. Best case, I want to have it in minutes, in hours, or at least in a few days. Come on, nobody wants to wait 5 days.
No
so
way.
the moment when you still store your products in Germany, and even though you have a Prime badge then in Italy, it is taking long, because they, like after purchase, they bring it from one country to the other. And even though the picture looks now very small, it's a couple of hours to get it from A to B with the truck. So there is a step-to-step plan on how you can expand your business across Europe with the different Amazon fulfillment tools. But as I said, start there and then go step by step. And then if you want to hear more about it, of course, we can go deeper in the discussion. For now, I think it would just extend the hours or the opportunities that we have here. But take it in your mind. If you go to Amazon, it's EU, it's not one local. You could do one local, but not smart.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. As I said earlier, Amazon EU, and I mean, if we go back to the numbers that you saw in the very beginning, there is a lot of things going on. Amazon is the marketplace. So of course, there are a lot of competitions. And there's a funny thing that all sellers in Europe, I mean, everybody at least thought it once. What would have been if I would have been on Amazon already 10 years ago? And that's, I think, is the amazing time right now, because it doesn't mean that you should not go to Europe. It also only means take all the learnings that you do there and translate them into other regions. So if we take the AE region, or Amazon.ae, that's the great thing, because it is not as big yet, or as saturated, or as experienced as it is, for example, in the UK or in Germany or in France. But the system is the same. The marketing is the same. Everything is there. But everything that I said that we were wishing for, like, I wish I would have been there 10 years ago, you have the chance here. So to be honest, I don't see a reason why somebody would not sell on Amazon.ae, because that's the easy access. You are there. And with early bird, I mean the following. If you position your product there, you have already an establishment. You build up your products, you build up the ranking, you build up the algorithm that I tried to explain earlier. So everybody else who's coming after you will have it harder, because they need to compete with you, who has been there now already. So I think it's the very, very smart timing. And as I said in the beginning, e-commerce is growing. It won't change. Even though if, hopefully, we are done with the pandemic, there will still be people buying online. And all those people that got used to purchasing stuff online now, I don't think that everybody of them will go back to the stores. I mean, it's
we don't want them to.
No, we don't want them to. So my recommendation would be the following. Amazon.ae, I mean, that's the smartest thing. I don't see a reason why you should not do that. And from there, take the opportunity and also take the more established marketplaces Amazon has today already and use the traffic which is there. Especially because, I mean, you have, obviously, I assume, a great product, or you're planning a great product. Yeah. So use the benefit of the worldwide network that Amazon is doing to get products very smart to loads of customers. And with this one, I'm rounding up. I left a little slide here. So if you liked it, if you want to talk, then there's a little link. Click on it, we get connected, and then we can talk about the different opportunities, especially for the step towards EU. And with this one, Crystal, I would come to the second part of the Q&A session.
Perfect. First of all, the link is in the description box of this video. So anybody who wants to contact Mareike and learn a little bit more how Lievd Up can help you sell on Amazon in Europe, please go ahead and contact her. She's also available for any additional questions you might have if you're not watching us live. Let's get started, Mareike, with one of the first questions from Muhammad about if you have a specific developed ERP that you recommend that someone can use.
Yeah, So there are multiple on the marketplaces. For example, there's Plenty Markets, there's JTL, and those are the ones that I am most happy with. But it's not limited to this one. So I would give the recommendation on the different ERP systems that there are to find out which are the ones that are helping your need. And for example, if I talk about Plenty Markets, this is a ERP system that you can use perfectly if you have maybe a rather, let's say, medium-sized selection. If you have, for example, a big portfolio of products, and maybe they are even changing due to seasonality, because maybe you have fashion and you have a summer and the winter sales, then that's maybe not the right one. Then you would go to another one, like I don't know, Channel Advisors, for example. So there are a lot of different ones, and I would always go on to check which are there and what can they serve.
Perfect. Thank you. A question also from Fatima, probably talking about product research, and when you are developing a product, how do you know if the product is seasonal? Is there a certain cutoff period, or is there a certain time where you should follow other types of products on Amazon to try to figure out if this is a seasonal product, yes or no?
Yeah, I mean, one thing, of course, there are trend products, trends on what is happening. We all think back of the fidget spinner or of the mask that everybody was selling. I mean, loads of them. But as I said earlier, use the data. So in the different data tools that they are, you can, and I think this is absolutely amazing, you can understand how long is it already on the market, how many units were sold over a specific time period, and how's the development of the product as well. Plus, you can also go, if you don't want to go on product level, you can go also on category level. So how's the change within the category? How long is it already saturated? Are there peaks? And I think this is the good thing. So combine it, data. So use the data that is there to understand, okay, what's the development? And of course, second thing, always connect it with like, would the customer, if I would be the customer, would I still buy it in a month? Would I still buy it in 6 months? So really always try to put yourself in the perspective of the customer. And I think, and this is very like personal opinion, I think if you have the ability to change perspectives, and if you have the ability to really see it through the eyes of your customer, this is always the most helpful thing.
Some things are also a little bit common sense. If you're selling a beach towel, for example, especially in a marketplace like Europe, it's going to be seasonal. If you're selling it in the UAE, maybe not as seasonal, but some things are also extremely common sense.
Definitely. So I have the impression, Crystal, that you don't think that our summer is hours long?
Not really. I have first-hand experience. Maybe a winter coat would be a little bit better.
There you go.
It doesn't matter. A product is a product. Another thing related to product hunting and product research. As you know, a lot of people are interested and have become interested with the whole Amazon business in the past year. So a lot of people are trying to develop products and to sell these products on Amazon. So if somebody was interested to sell something on Amazon in Europe, which marketplace do they need to focus on in order to verify if this is an in-demand product, if this product might be successful? Should they focus on one marketplace, for example, Amazon.de Germany, or should they look at all the marketplaces?
I would rather recommend to do the second. So because of course you can start with one, right? So you say, okay, let's start with, due to language, I mean, probably Amazon.uk is always the entry country, especially for out of region sellers. Be careful. I mean, there's Brexit, so the fulfillment is now a little bit different. But let's put this aside. If we look at it from a pure language side, my recommendation would always be go with the market that you feel most comfortable. And if the language topic is the one that's helping you, use that benefit. So that means start listing your product in Amazon UK, for example, and then they are great machines. So Amazon has different tools to take your portfolio and already to spread it across Europe. So they have like machine translations, and even though if you private label, those machines are running. And this is great because then you can say, okay, dear system, please check where my product has already been translated by a machine, and then add me up there so that the product can be already visible for the customer. And then go step by step. I always recommend to go like from the size. So I would go from UK, then Germany, or you can swap those two as well, depending on your preference. And then go, okay, check all your listings that you have in France, for example. How is the ranking? How can I improve them because of keywords? Do the French customer understand my product? If not, then you know what to do. And then really go step by step and always like start broad, but then optimize per country or per local.
Yeah. Talking about keywords, we do have a question from Bayan. So he typed in the comment when we were talking, when you were explaining exactly about the algorithm and all of that. So a lot of people have a misconception, the fact that, you know, if you feed the algorithm, then potentially you don't need to do ads. Or if you do ads, then why are you bothering with keywords and feeding the algorithm? So can you just unpack that a little bit?
Yeah, let's compare it with a car. So let's say we have a car. Nobody can drive a car if there's no wheel. So the keywords are the wheels. So if I add, or if I start with my listing, I have like very basic tools to already tell the algorithm easily, okay, this is the backend keyword, which is giving like the instruction, okay, it's a jacket and it's not a trouser. And then I can also go higher by putting this keywords also in the front end, title, bullet points, and so on. So I have wheels now on my car. But why do I want to go on the road with a car that has wheels if I can have a car that is very quick, a very sportive car? And this is PPC. So you can use advertisement to boost your readiness, to make sure that people see it better. And this is now the point. If I understand that for my, let's stay with the travel cup. With the travel cup, I know, okay, people are always searching for travel cup, silver, temperature. I don't know, I just make up face. Then I want to make sure that if people search for that they find my product. If people find my product on these key terms, then they buy something, probably they buy it. And this is when I have the sweet conversion point. So the right keyword is leading to a conversion. And this keyword is also my backend, for sure. So if the Amazon algorithm sees you are converting on this keyword very smartly, then Amazon is showcasing me again when people search that. Because as I said, Amazon wants to sell stuff. And Amazon is offering like a showcase where they have the impression I can sell stuff. And now it sounds like a person is like thinking, okay, what can I give there? It's like seconds, milliseconds. I mean, try it yourself. You put something in the search function, you hit the enter button, and not just a second away, you have like those results. So really combine it. Take keywords as the ground, have a good listing. It's like comparing it to the offline store. If we walk into the offline store, we want to present our products. So we want to put them on a nice shelf. We maybe want to also make sure that I have maybe the t-shirt fitting to the trouser so that people have the experience, right? But then I don't stop. I put like the light correctly so that it's nice and shiny. Maybe I put an advertisement on the window so that people walk in. And that's what PPC is doing.
Perfect. I think it's back to your example. Keywords can be the wheels, but if you don't turn on the ignition and pump the gas, how is the car going to move? So it comes hand in hand, but you need to have the keywords first, and then you're going to push your sales with those PPC ads because you're going to
absolutely. I very like the comparison with the ignition part. And I think this is also important if you have the wrong understanding of keywords. So if you think that people would buy the product on that keyword, that's an important thing. Just because we think that people would buy it on the keyword, it doesn't mean it has to be the case. And this is why I would always link it to data, really take comparable products, check on those products, what are the keywords that they're selling on? And I mean, it's an open book. And that's why I love Amazon, to be honest, because it's not like of course we try and error a lot as well, but it's more like an procedure of which is based on something and not just on tummy feelings.
You're able to minimize your risk because you've got all that data. So it makes things a little bit less risky. Obviously, it's a business and there's always a risk attached to it. But when you have all that data and you know how to read it and use it, then you're maximizing your successes and minimizing your losses.
Yes, it's very calculated.
Maraike, last question from me. As a person who is like an expert in Amazon and you have your own agency, right now, if I was somebody reaching out to you and saying, I want to start my business and I live in the Middle East, what would you recommend? Would you recommend somebody to start? I know you already said it, but I want to ask you again. Would you recommend that somebody starts in their own local marketplace and then expand? Or no, let's go for the biggest marketplace, for example, Amazon.com.
Yeah, it's a little bit like, do you want to have ice cream or candy? I mean, you want to have it both, right? You want to have like all the sweet stuff. So I couldn't tell you, to be honest. I mean, of course, me as a somebody who knows what's going on in Europe, I mean, why would you not do it? There's a lot of things going on. So especially use the easy exit. If you have the opportunity doing it with an expert, go for it. You don't need to spend loads of hours researching, putting yourself into University of Amazon again to understand the logic. Then I would say, go with Europe, understand how it's going, but then have it, for example, with a service provider and so on, so that you use this expertise, but at the same time, also start at the AE, because I think missing this early bird, you will not have the chance to redo it in a year or in 2 years, because somebody else was just quicker than you. So seeing it from that point, I would go start AE as the easy one, take it there, and then in the same second, maybe wait 10 seconds, but not longer. That's when we go also on the big market. And then we grow on both. And you know,
makes sense.
that
you can do both.
Definitely. So there's you don't need to decide for A or B. You can just have it all.
That's fantastic.
Thank you so much,
like Maraike, for all the information. For all the information and this wonderful session. I'm sure a lot of people are going to reach out to you. If you didn't hear me before, you'll find a special link for the Peak in the description box, whereby you can contact Maraike and ask some more questions related to Amazon Europe and how you can launch your products and your business on Amazon in Europe. Thank you so much, Maraike. Don't forget, guys, to leave a thumbs up to this video, because if we get a lot of thumbs up, then we'll do a huge series with Maraike breaking down all the information about Amazon Europe.
Thank you so much also from my side for this great invitation, Crystal.
Perfect. Thank you. Bye, everyone.